In today's video, I'm going to share with you an amazing drill that the tour players use to get themselves really sharp just before tournaments. Make sure you check out this video. So much lower ball flight, ball started left to target, bent right, so that was my low fade. Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me in my indoor studio, and today's video, as I mentioned there in the intro, is going to be about making your game sharp, tournament ready. So this is an exercise that most tour players use on a driving range before tournaments or maybe when they're away from tournament situations, but they're working on technical parts. They use this to break up their practice as well. And it's called a 9-ball flight drill, and I've seen different adaptations on it and even different terms for it. So I've heard some people talk about just making it 6-ball flights, etc. The 9-ball flights, what we're doing is 3 trajectories. So we're having low, mid and high. And then we've got 3 shot shapes. So we've got straight, draw and fade. So we try and hit each of those. So in draw, which is for me as a right-handed player, right to left shot shape, finishing on target hopefully, we're looking for a low draw, a mid draw, a high draw. Then we're going for straight, low straight, mid straight, high straight, low fade, mid fade, high fade. That would be the 9-ball flights that you're really looking for. And something you can easily track on the driving range, and what I would do is see how many shots does it take you to hit all 9 of those ball flights, and give yourself parameters. So I don't care what distance we're talking about, or even what club. I'm going to do this with a 6-iron here, but I'm not going to worry too much about the yardage. I'm going to focus on the shape of the shots. I'm expecting to be a little bit shorter when I'm perhaps hitting the fade and a little bit longer maybe when I'm hitting the draw shape. But what I'm trying to give myself is a parameter. So let's say, okay, the draws have to start right to target, they have to bend left, and they've got to finish within 10% of my distance that I'm hitting the ball. So if I'm expecting this to go 180, you know, I've got within that 18 yards. You may make that tighter, you might go a 5% error. Whatever that is, it's great to write it down somewhere, even if it's on your notes in your phone. Write down the date, write down how many shots it took you, the game you were playing, the parameters that you set yourself. And then you can use it to test yourself. Are you getting better? Are you getting worse? Did you beat your personal best? You know, it might have taken you 30 shots to do it first time round to achieve the 9-ball flights. Then we're trying to do it in 25, 20. We're just trying to break our records. We're trying to see that. But it gets us away from perhaps the technical thought. So it might be that you're working on some drills, but we break that then up with working actually on shapes, on trying to play and be a little bit more creative with it. I might not hit all 9 here for you, but let me go ahead and at least try and hit it. Let's go for the low draw, the high draw, the low fade, the high fade. So at least I've hit 4 of those ball flights with a difference there. So I'm going to pick the low draw first of all. And I'm not going to go too much into technique, but when I'm trying to hit the ball lower, the couple of things I would do, I'd move the ball a little bit further back in my stance. I'd grip the club just a little bit lower to encourage me to tilt more. When I'm hitting the draw shape, what I've got to try and make sure is this ball is starting right of target for me as a right-handed player. So I'm going to aim the face a little bit right of the line on the screen, which is my target. I'm going to then turn my body further to the right, so closing my stance in relation to my club aim, and I'm trying to get the feeling of swinging on my body line, okay? If you want more info about how to hit the draws, how to hit the fades, I'll put some links just in this video here where I've gone into a bit more detail than that. But this is really about making a better practice. So let's try and hit the low draw. Ball further back, a little lower down the handle. Low flat draw. Might have overdrawn it. But it started right, it bent left. It was a good strike, but I wouldn't have that in my parameter because I think it's going to be too far offline. Let's see. So it was 21 yards offline at 180. So if I was working to that 10%, it was close. 21 yards offline, I'd have an 18-yard tolerance either way, so it's just outside of that. Now, of course, if you're on a driving range, you're not going to know the exact distance offline, but I'm sure you can have a pretty good gauge of, okay, well, within those markers, you know, that distance marker or that tree at the back of the driving range. So, you know, you may have to be a bit creative, but definitely give it a go. I'm going to just try and hit the high draw for you. I know you're saying you didn't succeed on the low draw, but the high draw. So a little bit hard to perhaps hit the high draw because it's actually easier to draw the ball with the ball further back in your stance. Because I want to hit it high, I'm going to move the ball more forwards. But I'm going to do the same thing in terms of the aim. I'm going to aim the club just to the right where I want the ball to start. I'm going to turn my body then further to the right, closing my stance, my body, in relation to the club. But I've got that ball more forwards because, of course, this one's the high shot. Let's give it a whirl. Definitely got more height, definitely got that ball curving right to left. I need to see it back on the screen. I don't know that that ball started right enough. It almost started on target, didn't it? A little bit further off line. So I need that ball to start further right. I'm going to hit one more and talk you through what I'm going to do to get that ball to start more right to target. Because I'm definitely getting the face close to the path, but I need the face to be a little bit more open at impact for that ball to start right to target. Because that actually started pretty much on target rather than starting to the right. So good efficiency, by the way. I actually hit that nicely. So same thing, balls forwards. Club is going to just on this time be a little bit more open. So I'm going to aim the face a little bit more to the right. Turn my body further to the right. There we go. Just imagine I hit that one first. This is probably why I'm not a tour player. It takes me 3 attempts. So the ball started further right, bent left, actually finished bang on target. So 100% I would take that one. 3.3 yards offline at the distance I wanted, on the money, and that was my high draw. So we want to try and hit the low, the mid, the high, the straight, the low, the mid, the high. The straight is perhaps one of the tougher ones to try and hit. We want to obviously be pretty neutral. I'm just going to try and hit the fade. Now the opposite here, where the low draw was easier than the high draw, with fading, it's actually easier to hit the high fade than it is the low fade, because with the ball more forwards, it encourages my path to be a little bit more to the left for me as a right-handed golfer. I'm going to hit the high one, then try and hit the low one. So I'm going to aim the face a little to the left where I want the ball to start. I'm going to keep that ball forwards. This time I'm going to walk around the clock face to aim my body more to the left, more open compared to the club aim. So ball started left to target, bent right. It's going to be within my parameters. You can see it lost me a lot of distance there with the amount of curve on it. It's finished too far right to target, but within my parameters, 15.7 yards off line. So that one would count if I was setting myself that 10%. As I said, it might be you start more generous and you make that harder and harder, depending on the level of golfer you're at. A lot of golfers tell me they're not good enough to shape the ball. You'll never know until you try it. So give it a go as an exercise. Work on this and you're going to get better and better on the range. And then you can start seeing those flights on the golf course and what works best for you. You'll hear tour players in their interviews say, I just had to hit a fade out there all day today. I didn't have it. I had to try and hit my whatever shot. And they just try to focus on a shot to get them round on the golf course. So I'm going to try and hit a lower one. We've got the trajectory of that one. We can look at the launch angle on it. If you're on the range, obviously you'd know roughly where it was peaking. So we're trying to hit the lower one now. A little bit tougher, so I'm still going to aim the face left, but I'm going to move the ball a bit further back in my stance. I'm going to turn my body more to the left, so more open, encouraging my swing to be along my body line. Whenever we're trying to shape the ball, quick tip, always try and set upper body the same as lower body. A lot of golfers turn their lower body, forget about upper body. So body is open. I'm just going to swing hard left. So much lower ball flight. Ball started left to target, bent right. So that was my low fade and got pretty close to the target. Very happy with that one. The difference in trajectory from the high to low one was So on the last two shots there, my high one launched at 20.1 degrees. My low fade launched at 13.8. So, 7 degrees difference nearly between them. Both started left to target, both bent right, finished within my parameters, 15.7 yards offline and 6.6 yards offline. The difference in terms of the peak height, my low one was 25 yards high at the peak and the high one was 32. So a definite difference there between the two. Even if you haven't got technology, just observing the flights on the range, you're going to get a real good idea with that 9-ball flight drill. How many shots does it take you? Write it down. Just try and beat your personal best. If you need to make it easier, you can set those parameters a little bit wider in terms of the dispersion that you're allowed offline. If you're an elite golfer, obviously reduce them. It's a great exercise to get out of technical and break your practice up with some natural movements. If this video has helped, as I mentioned there at the start, hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe.